If you are someone who likes to use input monitoring, if you can hear latency when you're using output monitoring, then AutoM might be for you while you are tracking. This video is going to explain how to use AutoM and SQ and how they take control of your channel's return button. And throughout the video, I'm just going to be talking about AutoM, but it's actually the same functionality between the two. So AutoM applies to the monitors inside the control room, while SQ applies to the cues, the headphones that your artists might hear out in the live room. And they're really the exact same concept and they work exactly the same, but I'm only going to be referring to it as AutoM throughout this. I have got a session going. I've got 3 channels that I'm using on the SSL. Channel 1 is stereo output, and that is a bunch of tracks in my session that I've recorded on previous days and MIDI tracks. Channel 2 is my drums that I just recorded, and channel 3 is my keyboard here that I am going to be using for this demonstration. Channel 2 and 3 are both in tracking mode. And as you know, we use the return button to source the monitor path of each channel when we're in tracking mode. The input comes down the input path, which you can see on the left meter, and the output goes down the return or monitor path, which you can see on the right meter there. And as you know, when the return button is not pressed, then whatever's coming down the input side is what is getting sent over to the return side and the monitor side. And when you push the return button, we can't do it on this one because I've got this set up for something to demonstrate. When you push the return button and turn it on, then instead of sourcing your monitor side with the input side, you are sourcing your monitor side with the output from your DAW. So when you're recording and you want to hear the input, you would turn this off and you would record. And then once you're finished recording and you want to hear it playing back, now you need to hear it coming from your DAW. So you would need to press this to be able to hear it from your DAW. And that's a little clunky. So this is where AutoM can be really helpful. AutoM takes control of the return button for you and knows whether you are in play or record mode. I'm going to show you here. So I've got channel 3 selected. I'm in tracking mode. I don't have AutoM turned on. And I'm just going to play from the DAW real quick. I'm going to hit the space bar and you can see play light up. And then I'm going to hit record really quick from the DAW so that you can see the record button light up. So the SSL knows when we're playing versus when we're recording. What the SSL doesn't know is what tracks in ProTools we're actually recording into. All it knows is that we're recording. It doesn't know that I'm only recording on channel 3 and I'm finished recording on channel 2. That's my drums that I recorded earlier. It doesn't know that I'm not recording them again. All it knows is that I'm in record mode. And then when I'm finished, all it knows is that I'm in play mode. So that's where things can get tricky. So AutoM's pretty cool because if we're recording, let's go ahead and record. And I'm just going to record some gibberish on my keyboard. You can see it there on the 3rd channel. I'm going to turn down this one so it's not. Okay. So it knows we're recording. I've got the return button pressed. It is sourcing my monitor path from ProTools, I can select the return button, and now my monitor path is being sourced from my input path, so there's no latency. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop. And now I want to play back what I just recorded. However, we're not hearing what I just played back, and that's because I don't have the return button pressed yet. So let me press that. Now I'm sourcing my monitor path from the DAW. So kind of clunky, and what I can do instead is just turn on AutoM. Come over here. Let me get out of that screen, show you how to get into the screen. Go to SSL and Chan, and then we're going to choose AutoM. We've got channel 3 selected, so we know we're on channel 3, and you can see it here too. So I'm going to go ahead and select AutoM. Okay, so this time, notice the return button is still not lit up, and I'm going to record. Okay, so I'm recording, and AutoM is smart, and it knows that since I'm recording, that it should source my monitor path with my input path. Now I'm going to stop, and I'm just going to play back. And look how it has lit up the return button for me. I didn't have to touch that. AutoM just knows that we are only playing right now, and that if I want to hear what I just recorded on channel 3, we need to hit the return button. So it helps me manage that. But you want to be sure to only have AutoM turned on for the tracks that you're recording right now. So I recorded drums earlier, but I'm not recording them now. Right now I'm only recording from my keyboard. And if I turn on AutoM for my drums, the SSL only knows whether I'm recording or playing. It doesn't know which tracks I'm recording. So if I turn on AutoM for track number 2, which I've got it on for this example, you can't, it is yellow. So I've got AutoM turned on, and now I'm going to record. And in record mode, AutoM is sourced from, AutoM sources the return path, the monitor path, with the input path. Start recording. You can't hear the drums because AutoM is turned on. And so this channel here, the monitor side is being sourced from the input side, and there is no input coming down channel 2 right now. There's only input coming down channel 3. So AutoM is helping me on channel 3 by sending what's on my input side. On the left meter there you can see, sending what's on my input side over to my monitor side. And that's very helpful. But for a channel that I'm not recording on, it doesn't make sense. So we need to turn AutoM off on that channel. Now they're back on. And we want that return button pressed, of course, because that sources this from the DAW.